Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is One Accord Level 2 podcast. Hope everybody's being blessed, safe, and well. Hope everybody's doing good. Many prayers for comfort, healing, strength, and peace to all those who need it. And we're going to talk about a couple of M's today. Miscommunication and being misunderstood. Now, growing up in my lifetime, I can't tell you how many times, even today, at my current age, that I've been misunderstood or things have not been properly communicated and there was miscommunication. I think I'll talk about miscommunication first and then being misunderstood. So miscommunication, the lines that blur between the what we call gray area. Somebody heard it one way and or seen it one way or felt it one way, and another person, was the same way. They said, "Oh, well, that I thought it meant this, or I heard this, or what I heard, I seen it as this." So, having miscommunication sometimes it causes a rift and a stir, and it's hard to bust through those doors of, well, did they really mean it that way? Or, did they even see it that way when whatever was said? So sometimes I think it's just good to press pause. It's just good to say, okay, let's read the room and let's see about how things are really going. And let's properly communicate and understand about what you're seeing and what also is happening and what did you mean by what you said versus what I thought that I heard what you said. So a lot of times in my life there has been miscommunication, talking to my teachers, talking to my bosses at work sometimes, and that's the reason why it's important to communicate, because then you can dispel anything, and just be like, hey, okay, I know you said this, but did you mean, like, said X, Y, and Z? It's like, no, no, I didn't mean it that way. You were right or you were wrong. Or even if you met somewhere in the middle, it's like, you were right. And guess what? You were wrong. But, we kind of are on the same page, and it's just good to just be open to make sure, like I said, everything is everything. Because like I said, sometimes there are blurred lines in that. There are gray areas. And there might not be, like I said, what you think of it. And even when it comes to something that you thought was bad and it turned out to be good. That's another thing that happened to me during my childhood and growing up and things like that, even now. And some things are not bad. Some things are, they are very, very good. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you might just have thought that it was not, due to how you feel or due to, what you, like I said, what you thought that you see. Because sometimes it's about, what you hear. And sometimes it just hurts. And then sometimes you're just like, you're confused. You're just like, what? But like I said, talking things out, properly communicating, that works for everything. Now, jumping into being misunderstood. Oh, man, I can't tell you how many times that I've been misunderstood during my lifetime. It's probably been about 20 million times. And sometimes it's hard to express the words in which you have that you want to, say a thing or do a thing. And it's just tough. It's tough to get through what you're trying to explain to people. And some people would say, well, I don't understand. Some people say, well, this is, or, this doesn't make any sense to me. And then you have to go about and just be like, hey, this is exactly what I meant, and even with simple things, it's just been misunderstood, and sometimes as a man, it's kind of hard to explain how you feel. It's kind of hard to explain, the things that you go through, because people misunderstand you and they don't get it. And sometimes it's hard, and it leads to silence. Sometimes my silence has spoke volumes, and I just, hey, I might not feel like talking, because sometimes you get tired of explaining yourself. Sometimes you get tired of trying to explain your emotions, like say your feelings and how you see things, and people just don't understand, and you just quit talking. And I just was like, hey, sometimes even today it's been a course. I don't even want to talk about it, because I'm tired. I'm tired mentally. I'm tired emotionally, and I just want and need a break. And I don't have nothing to say to nobody, and I don't want to, to be thinking about anything. So you just have to, you just have to do what you can to not be misunderstood. You have to make things very, very clear, and you have to explain it in a way that sometimes people will understand. Because some people, they don't read between the lines well. And even some of the ones that do, they still might not get it. So you have to be very clear about what you're saying, the direction you're going, and how you want things to be. So, being misunderstood, even as a child having ADHD, I just, I say, this is pointless. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just not going to say anything. So trying to have that bridging gap of, learning how to explain myself better has been a work in progress my whole entire life. And now we're at this point. And sometimes I'm still misunderstood, and sometimes there still is miscommunication. But I'm doing the best I can to do everything that I can to make sure everything is reciprocated and the energy is matched and the communication is key. This is One Accord Level 2 Podcast. Be blessed, be safe, be well. And I'll holler at you on the flip side.